Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is the eyeshadow wardrobe tag. Now this tag originated on Charlotte Holdcroft and Megan Turner's channels, and I will link them both down in the descriptions below. And the object of this tag is for 10 different events. You're supposed to pick an eyeshadow palette that you would wear or have worn to that event. So there are 10 categories and I've picked an eyeshadow palette for each of them. If you're excited for this video, you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would love to have you guys back for more. But without further ado, I will shut my mouth and we will get on into it. Okay, so the first occasion that is on the list is for a wedding. Maybe it's your wedding or you're a wedding guest or maybe you're in the bridal party. I had to go with the original Urban Decay Naked palette. When I'm thinking of a wedding, I'm thinking of something a little bit more natural, neutral. Don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It looks really beautiful on its own and without a ton of work, but the shadows ideally will have a lot of staying power. So I definitely think this palette meets all of those requirements, at least for myself. If you are someone who wants to remain natural and neutral, you can definitely reach into some of these tones right here to keep things more basic. Or if you're someone that wants to get a little bit more dramatic on your wedding day, or maybe you're the wedding guest or you're in the bridal party, you can go into some of these more dramatic tones right here. There are lots of options in this palette, and these shadows have amazing staying power. So you definitely don't have to worry all day long about your eyeshadow coming off or melting away or fading away as the day goes on. And this is just a really good overall palette, I think, for a wedding. Okay, and then the next occasion for the eyeshadow palette tag is for a birthday party. Now this is kind of a difficult one to pick because the birthday parties that I've gone to, I don't really think I've ever worn eyeshadow to those parties, but I had to go with this fun little palette from AOA Studio. This is the Immersed palette, and on the inside you have these really fun, really pretty, bold kind of shades up here. I'm just picturing this blue all over the lid with maybe some of these shimmery greens down on the lower lash line and maybe one of these shimmery golds and silvers in the inner corner. I think this is a really cute palette, and when I think of a birthday party, I definitely think of more of a cute look. But if you're someone who wants to go more natural, you can definitely do that with some of these more natural tones up here. Maybe one of these shimmers just all over the lid with nothing else. And as a bonus, this palette is $10. You can get it on shopmissay.com. Okay, and then the next category was for a date night. Now, this is actually more of a recent find. I actually just got it about 2 weeks ago, but I've used it just about every day since then. This is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. And this is so cute. When I'm thinking of a date night, I'm definitely thinking of more romantic, warm-toned neutrals, and that is definitely what you're gonna get in this palette. You've got some really pretty warm-toned neutrals down here, but if you wanted to get a little bit more dramatic, you can definitely do that with some of these shades right here, maybe smoking things out with this dark here in the upper corner, putting this pink all over the lid, maybe some of this hot pink all over the lid as well, or on the lower lash line. There are lots of options for this palette, and these shades have amazing staying power. I have it on right now. I have on this shade right here, mixed in with a little bit of this shade right here, and then I put on some green liner just to spice things up a bit. And yeah, this eyeshadow's been on for probably, I don't know, maybe about 7 or 8 hours now, and I definitely think that these are really amazing, good quality shadows, and you definitely wouldn't have to worry about them going anywhere on your date night, so that is what I picked for that. Okay, and then the next category is for a girls' night. Now, when I'm thinking of a girls' night, I'm definitely thinking of something fun, something bold and vibrant, and I've got to go with this. This is the Venice Fling palette from Estate Cosmetics. It is their collaboration with Bailey Sarian. I will also link her channel down in the description box below. But these shades are so fun. I love this glittery purple. I put it all over the lid all the time. This red is just life. I've hit pan on it already, and I've had this palette for less than a month and a half, and I've already hit pan. So I definitely love this palette, and I've definitely worn it on a couple of girls' nights since I got it. If you wanted to deepen things up a bit, like maybe with a little smoky eye, you can do that with this darker brown in the upper corner. This gold shade is so beautiful. I think this is honestly one of the best eyeshadow shades I have ever found in a color like this. And let me just go ahead and swatch it for you guys. It is just so beautiful and it is so glittery and amazing. These are really awesome, and this is definitely what I think of when I'm thinking of a girls' night palette. Okay, and then the next palette is for vacation. And for that, I actually had to go with this. This is also kind of a more recent find. This is the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. And when I'm thinking of a vacation, I'm definitely thinking of some like brighter tones and maybe some neutrals, because when I'm going on vacation, I don't want to take a whole bunch of palettes with me. I just want to take one, and preferably one that is not super large. And I'm picturing this blue all over the lid, maybe this green on the lower lash line. If you want to deepen things up a bit, smoke it out, you can do that with either this shade right here, this shade right here. You can also get kind of muted if you wanted to with some of these more natural tones right here. This shade all over the lid is gorgeous, and I use it all the time for that purpose. And these two right here on the inner corner are beautiful as well. And it's just a really good all over palette, has lots of uses, and so that is what I'm gonna go with for vacation. Okay, and then the next category is for graduation. Now, I don't actually remember what palette I used that I put on when I graduated. So I'm gonna go with this just as, you know, theoretical, and this is the ColourPop Going Coconuts eyeshadow palette. And here it is. When I'm thinking of graduation, I'm definitely thinking of something more natural, more muted. But again, like I've said in most of these other palettes, if you wanted to dramatize things a bit, you can definitely do that. And you could smoke it out a little bit with this deeper brown. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch both of these shades for you, because these are two of my favorite shades with really any palette I've ever used. And this is what it looks like, so pretty. And you don't have to worry about these shades going anywhere. They will stay on your eyes all day long. So this is definitely really good option, I think, for graduation if you wanna, you know, have a more natural graduation look. Okay, and then the next category was for Christmas or the holidays, stuff like that. And for that, I had to go with the Milani Bold Obsessions, one of my favorite palettes of all time. When I'm thinking of the holidays, I am definitely thinking of like a more dramatic type of look, or maybe that's just me, but I definitely get more dramatic on the holidays. I'm thinking for Christmas, maybe these two reds, this one all over the lid with this on top of it, and then maybe putting this shimmery pink on the inner corner, maybe putting this blue all over the lid and smoking it out with this black, or even putting this shade all over the lid and smoking it out with this black up here. I feel like for a palette that's, you know, kind of small and for not a ton of shades, there are so many options in this palette, and Milani eyeshadows typically perform as well as high-end eyeshadows. But this is definitely what I think of when I think of like holiday, Christmas eyeshadows. Okay, and then the next category is for the office. Now, this one was also kind of difficult because I don't physically work in an office setting anymore. I'm actually working from home these days because of the situation with coronavirus. But for that, I'm gonna go with this. This is the Naturals palette from Profusion Cosmetics. I've talked about it on my channel before, but this is what it looks like. When I'm thinking of going to the office, I'm definitely reaching for more of a muted, warm-toned palette, and that's definitely what you're gonna find here. You have all sorts of options all over here for your more muted tones, but if you are someone that likes to deepen things up a bit, you definitely have the option to do that here. You can do that with this shade over here all over the lid, smoking it out with this black here in the upper corner, maybe putting this darker shade on the lower lash line. These eyeshadows, for how cheap they are, I believe this whole palette is about $10, so you're paying what, 25 cents a shadow? I haven't exactly done the math, but I digress. These are amazing quality. These perform right on up there with, I'd say, the ColourPop eyeshadows. If I do have to go to the office for one reason or another, this is definitely what I'm reaching for a lot of the time. And this is actually pretty quick to work with, not a lot of thought into it, and I definitely like the way my makeup turns out every time I use this palette. Okay, and then the next is Errands. Now, when I'm going to do errands, I do like to have something fun on because it makes me personally feel a little bit more put together. So for that, I'm gonna go with the ColourPop Lilac You A Lot. And in here, you're gonna find some really cute, some pinks, and these purples in here, so adorable. I actually smoke things out a lot with this dark purple right here. Super good quality. I believe this palette is about $12 last time I checked. At least that is what I paid for this palette, and just overall, really good quality, and you don't really need to worry about the shades coming off of your eyes either. Okay, and the final category is New Year's. What would you wear on New Year's? And again, this one was kind of difficult just because I'm not really someone who ever gets dressed up on New Year's because I don't typically go to New Year's parties or anything. I would reach into the Morphe 3503 Fierce by Nature, and this is what it looks like. When I think New Year's, I definitely think of something super dramatic, bold reds, maybe some greens, and you'll definitely find that in this palette. You have all sorts of options here for bright reds and some bright oranges, and there are 2 greens in here. If you put this all over your lid and then put this on top of it, it looks beautiful and it's so fun, and you definitely have the ability to smoke things out. You know, with any of these kind of darker shades right here, you could smoke anything out. I definitely think this is a palette you could mix with any of the other palettes that I've mentioned before. I've also never been disappointed with the way that my eye makeup has turned out. The only downside I'm going to say about this palette is you do get a little bit of fallout, so I do like to tape with this one. However, for the 20 bucks you pay, I definitely don't think this is a bad palette, and this is definitely what I would reach for if I was going to go to a New Year's party. Okay guys, so that's all I've got for today. That was the eyeshadow wardrobe tag. As always, you can drop down in the comments what you would like to see me do next time, or you can leave them on my Instagram, which I will put right here for all of you guys and gals to go and follow me there. And I gotta say, this was a pretty fun video to film, and I did really enjoy it. I hope you guys did too. But in the meantime, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.